Mr. LWHS, do you or do you not acknowledge that this is you in the photo?
Why, yes, but how did you get a photo of me at the notebook?
Technicalities, Mr. LWHS, technicalities.
Mr. Murphy.
Mr. LWHS.
Is she allowed to do this? I mean, doesn't she need a warrant?
Don't worry, Mr. LWHS, you are my client and I will defend you impeccably. Just answer her questions and don't worry.
Excellently said, Mr. Murphy. It's certainly a pleasure matching wits with as intelligent an adversary as you. Now, Mr. LWHS, what is this book you are reading?
I believe it's Living with the Aggressive God in Paradise. You see, I have terrible allergies to mosquitoes. Just the other day, I got a bite on my tongue, and it blew up like a hot air balloon.
And if you don't mind me asking, who wrote that book?
I don't know.
Your Honor, the defendant is dodging...
Mr. LWHS! You will answer the question, or else you run jail for the rest of your life!
Mr. Murphy! Can you tell them I plead the fifth? Isn't that the one where I don't have to incriminate myself?
Now, don't concern yourself with messy legal doctrine, Mr. LWHS. I promise you it's complicated, and I assure you that the right to not be a witness against yourself is far more complicated than you might possibly conceive. I promise you, I wouldn't let something like that slip peacefully.
Now, Mr. LWHS, who wrote that book?
I don't know. I didn't buy it.
And why didn't you buy it?
Because it didn't discuss the relationship between my bugs and my hyperactive immunoglobulin production.
Your Honor!
In English!
It's allergies. Please don't throw me in the slammer.
Interesting. Now, we all know smoke scares off bugs. Obviously, Mr. LWHS started this fire to get rid of mosquitoes.
Objection, Your Honor. There is no evidence that there were mosquitoes nearby, nor that the smoke was effective in scaring them off.
Counsel?
Oh, trust me. There were, and it did.
Objection retracted, Your Honor. Prosecution's argument is convincing.
Wait, it's not convinced me.
Mr. LWHS, I advise you as your legal counsel not to disagree. It could jeopardize my efforts to mount an adequate defense.
Rats.
Now that the arson connection has been established.
Then what
Mr.
happened?
LWHS! Do not interrupt the counsel, they're speaking! If you do it again, I'll send you run jail until your children have grandchildren!
I don't even have children.
What did I just say?
As I was saying, the arson charge has been established, and theft and murder are obvious from that context. It is now time to move on to the most serious of the charges. Gross indecent acts of violence of the fourth degree against innocent backyard critters. Innocent backyard critters?
Well, that's just ridiculous. I have a pet squirrel. His name is Larry. He has a family. I love animals. And who's this lunatic? It's Balderdash.
Mr. LWHS, this is my associate, who is late. I know.
Mr. Murphy.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is showing inappropriate affection in the courtroom.
Overruled. Affection leads to reproduction. Without that, the human race would cease to exist.
Now, Mr. LWHS, I would like to ask you, why did you commit these terrible, inhumane acts to these animals who had never done you any wrong?
Objection, Your Honor. There is no evidence that the animals never did my client wrong. Perhaps the killings were in self-defense.
Wait, you're my lawyer. You should be arguing that I didn't do them at all.
Trust me, Mr. LWHS. I am a professional and I went to law school. It's all a part of the plan.
Counsel, present evidence that the innocent backyard critters never did the defendant any wrong.
Of course, Your Honor. Ermengarde, now as Strapwick so astutely noted. Thank you, Ermengarde. Of course, she printed out this brief. Background checks on all the bunnies cruelly murdered by the defendant. I now quote the background check. Rabbit number 7 enjoyed long walks through the park and moonlit salad dinners.
Objection, Your Honor. Rabbits don't walk. They hawk.
Obviously, the report wished to contextualize the habits of rabbits. Why, thank you, Ermengarde. Of course. Contextualize the habits of rabbits. It was a colloquialism, if you will.
Oh, but I won't. Your Honor, this is a blatant example of exoproquidnosutrum galileos.
Excuse me, that doesn't sound real to me.
Obviously. Because otherwise you would realize... Stratford, would you elaborate?
Of course, in regard. You would realize that exo pro quid dissertation Galileos applies in cases of the common law, where the defendant in question has already demonstrated bona fide goodness, which has not yet happened.
Objection, Your Honor. The response didn't sound Latin, therefore it can't be acceptable.
Objection sustained!
Well, if not bona fide goodness, then perhaps might I suggest bona fide great,
An excellent suggestion. The defendant has yet to demonstrate bona fide gratuitousness.
That sounds even less Latin. Should you object, Mr. Murphy?
I come
Mr.
No, it works for me. I still protest to this colosmicationized evidence.
Counsel, decolloquialize the evidence or I will not allow it.
Fine. Rabbit number 7 on Troy Long hops through the park. Nothing in there says anything about ever having done anything to Mr. Lebowitz.
Just because it's not in there doesn't mean it didn't happen. Mr. Murphy!
They have a pretty solid case there. No objections, Your Honor.
There we go. Method, motivation, and if Your Honor will please forgive me, he has demonstrated his madness as well.
and to prove this madness, we will now call to the stand Mrs. Lebowitz!
Oh no.
Mr. Lebowitz! Who's exiting the stand?
Smile, you got smuts all over your face. Put that lint on your shirt. Let me get that. Thank you. Anyway, you wouldn't believe the traffic I had coming over here. The beeper went off. I couldn't do anything. Anyways, I'm here. Nobody's asking me questions.
Mrs. Lebowitz!
What?
Do you think that your son would be able to commit the crimes of which he's been accused?
Oh, absolutely not. He's far too frail for that. He wouldn't be able to handle the stress, honestly, bless his little heart. I remember there was this one time where we were at a picnic enjoying some delightful pastries. Have you ever been to Barbara's? It's delightful. Anyway, we were enjoying the pastries from Barbara's. And a little ladybug landed on his lady finger, and just the thought of being surrounded by ladies knocked poor Eugene right out. If you don't believe me...
Okay, Mr. Lebowitz. You mentioned frail. Are you saying that your son, the accused, has a physical malady that would prevent him from turning to the darker side of the law?
Oh, certainly, but more than one. You see, he does this thing where when he sees the color blue, when he sees the color blue, he just goes to sleep just like that.
Physical malady.
Oh, yes. Well, poor Eugene is asthmatic. And I remember the last time he saw a fire, it was 12 days ago in his great uncle's house for Thanksgiving. Anyways, we were by the dinner table and he was by the fireplace playing with his little dolls.
Action ticket.
I'm talking in my trial, be quiet. By the fireplace playing with his little dolls, and all of a sudden he started coughing his pull lungs out from the smoke, Ippy, and that is inhaler.
An inhaler? Like the one found at the scene of the crime?
Mrs. Lebowitz, please describe your son's inhaler for us.
What color was it? Were there any distinctive markings?
Well, I keep extras for Eugene just in case. You never know with boys. If he's building sandcastles, it might act up. You never know. The main one is big, pink, and it has his phone number and address right on it. Bless him, he'd forget his own name if I didn't write it on his underwear for him. He's so forgetful.
Not right blue.
Heavens, no. The color blue would send him straight to dreamland with his imaginary
Are
friend.
you suggesting that the accused has difficulties with bright colors, such as the bright colors worn by the victims?
Objection, Your Honor. Bright is a subjective term. I want quantification.
Counsel, what is right?
Well, I believe bright is pretty obvious in common usage and should be fairly understood by the witness.
According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, bright is defined as radiant with happiness.
Fine, you can use bright, but I will severely harass anyone that uses words that I don't know in the future.
Son react to bright color.
Would they make him upset, perhaps?
Angry?
Violent even?
Heavens, no, he wouldn't hurt a fly, not even the pesky ones in his little garden. Although if he would let me help water, I'm sure he would have some lovely flowers that he could finally use to get a girlfriend. No, besides, I made sure to put lanyards on all his inhalers. Look at this, isn't this amazing? Look, you take this, I'll give it to you. Put it on your purse, you'll never leave it again. He never forgets it because of the lanyards. It's the lanyards.
What about which in the words of the neighborhood dry cleaner looks vaguely familiar?
Oh, well, no. It couldn't be his. You see, it was last winter. It was freezing outside. I must have been delirious. I don't know, but I let him go outside without a jacket. Anyways, he came back. I've never seen a child more miserable in my life. The coughing, the moaning, the sobbing. It went on and on and on and on and on. Anyways, now before he leaves the house, I staple the coat to the pants. He doesn't leave without it.
The accused was not only committing a crime,
But breaking his own mother's rules at the same time.
Your Honor, we're done, Mrs. LeBoy.
That's blasphemy. I would never disobey my...
Shut up!
Your Honor, the character of the accused has been well established.
Oh, I hope I've been helpful. I would hate to see my son go to prison. He wouldn't be able to can't handle the food. He's allergic to so
Miss
much.
Lewis, you can leave the stand.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Judge. Please, my son's a good boy. He's just a little stupid sometimes.